Some of these financial videos are really just to get you to think. I want to talk to you about the 100% plan. What in the world is the 100% plan? What if when you went to buy large items, big items, that you paid 100% on it? For example, a few years ago, many of you know that I've had a music publishing company. You know about our hymnal, Bible Truth Hymns. And so I was shopping around trying to get the best deal on printing them in a quality way. And the best quality place did not have the best bid. And I called them and I said, really wanted you to have the job, but you did not have the best price. And they said to me, well, quality cost. I said, well, I want you to know I've got all of the money that I can pay 100%. They said, oh. I said, yeah, I've got enough to pay 100%. That got their attention. I said, but you're going to have to sharpen your pencil. And the man on the other end of the line said, I'm putting the pencil in the sharpener right now, Brother Fox. And so we came to a good price. And I said, I trust you so much, I'd give you half the money right up front. He said, oh, this will be the price then. Then I said, what if I paid you 100%? Would you come down a little bit more? He said, I'll give you another 2% discount if you'd pay us 100%. I said, now I'm not interested in paying for the shipping right now, but I'll pay 100%. And we were only printing 10,000 hymnals on that first run. I was scared that we had bad notes or a page missing. I was scared. I was scared. So we only printed 10,000 on that first run. But I wired them all the money before they finished the project. I wired them 50% that next day, and just a few days later, wired the other 50%. I had all the money. And so I got a really good deal, and they've kept our printing of the hymnal through all of the printings. We just printed another 12,000 of them, and they printed them for us. And they've kept all that because the 100% plan actually really worked with them. Well, what about using the 100% plan on buying a house? What? You mean pay in full for a house? Hey, friends, it has been done. How would you do that? Well, paying for it in full, I think it's an extremely wise plan if you can do it. Now, debt is not forbidden in the scriptures. I've said that to you many times. Debt is not forbidden in the scripture, but it's not encouraged. It's best to have zero debt. Now, a house is your biggest investment. So I wrote down 4 things of how maybe that you could buy a house with the 100% plan. Number 1, I wrote down this: live in a very cheap rental or live with your parents. 19-year-olds are living home and starting their careers and so forth. You should be saving 50, 60% of what you make. And you could be saving toward a house, and you could save significant money. But before you make a down payment on a house of 100% that you just pay, get out of all other debt. Make sure you have zero debt, no debt on a car, no debt on a credit card, no debt whatsoever. And then really be saving for this house that you would pay 100% on it. Just buy it in full. Live very cheap with a cheap rental. Live in a garage apartment. Rent from your parents. Do something where you can live very, very cheap. Get 100% out of all of the debt. Number 3, save hard every single week. To save $50,000 a year, that means you basically save $1,000 a week. Save $1,000 a week. It's been done. There are people who make $100,000 and they live on about 30 or 40% of what they make. They live very frugally, eating ramen noodles. Yeah, eating bananas and peanut butter. Yeah, there's ways to eat inexpensively. If you really want to do this 100% plan, for 4 or 5 years, you may have to live far below what you would like to do as far as just the pleasures of this world and so forth. But if you'll sacrifice a little now, oh, it'll pay big dividends. You'll look back and say, wow, I am glad I went with the 100% plan. Everybody can't do this as far as paying 100% on a house. You should pay 100% on a car. Don't go in debt on a car. Be very, very careful on that. Cars depreciate in value. Homes, on the other hand, basically appreciate. Over the long term, they appreciate. So save hard every single week. If you saved about $1,000 a week, in 4 years, you'd have over $200,000, plus whatever the money would make during the course of the 4 years that you saved so hard. But then number 4, shop very logically. It's easy to get emotional about buying a house. You're in love with your family, and if you're not careful, you'll get so emotional that you won't use your best logic. Work on deals. You know, my wife and I, we paid off the house, and then it was a small house, and so we wanted another house that was slightly larger and so forth. And we began shopping, and we found a house, and I did not pay what they asked. In fact, I followed the 70% rule. Offer them about 70% of what they were asking. They may have felt a little insulted, but they needed to sell the house. It was an investor who was flipping houses, and he needed some money. Nobody has to take your offer. So I made an offer, and he came down significantly, but he didn't take my 70% offer. So I bumped mine up a little bit. He came down a little more. Well, I bumped mine up a little bit. And he said to me, do you want to buy the house or not? I said, I really do want to buy the house. But I have overpaid for a house once, and I don't want to overpay again. Yeah, when I was 19 years old, I was not a good negotiator. I told you I bought that house for $59,000. I was 19. I was in love. I'm still in love with Renee. But I made an emotional buy, at least somewhat. It wasn't a terrible deal. I didn't pay double what the house was worth, but I didn't negotiate. I didn't know how to negotiate. But shop logically, negotiate, find out the real value of the home. So, well, I got the tax assessment. Well, tax assessment is not all that real. It's a starting point. Find out what the tax assessment is, but do some real research. And a house is only really worth what someone can really get for it. I could tell you my house is $1 million. But unless somebody will give me $1 million for it, it's not worth $1 million. My house is never going to bring $1 million anytime soon. Maybe the dollar gets so weak that maybe one day it'll take $1 million to buy this house. But not today, or not anytime soon. So the house is only really worth what you can get for it. So shop very logically. But I want you to give some full consideration to the 100% payment plan, that you just pay 100%. The 100% payment plan is very rare. There is another 100% payment plan. That's the payment plan of the Lord in His salvation. He'll save you 100% if you'll come to Him and ask for it. The gift of salvation is priceless, but it's absolutely free. It's a free gift from God. Not of works, lest any man should boast. If you're watching this and you're not saved, I want you to receive Jesus Christ. 100% of the people who come to Jesus and say, Lord, would you save me? He will. He has never turned anyone away. But if you're going to buy a house, or you're buying a car, or buying some large item, I want you to consider the 100% payment plan. May God bless.